think I'll start coughing.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the November 6th River Falls City Planning Commission meeting. First thing we'll do is stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Morissette,
Here.
Moody,
Here.
Reese,
Here.
Stiesel,
Here. Here.
Toland,
Here.
Hensman.
Here. I don't think her mic is working.
Hear me now?
Nope.
No.
Green light's on. I'll talk really loud.
That's okay, there you go. Should we close the door?
Oh, I don't think. Can we?
Oh, we can?
think we're
Oh, I'm
supposed
sorry. I thought once the meeting started, you could. Okay. Well, let's move on to approval of the minutes from the October 2nd meeting.
I move approval. Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now's the time for, if there's anybody in the audience that has something they'd like to talk about, now's the time for public comments. Otherwise, we'll move on to current items. The first one is a recommendation City Council on the Sterling Ponds First Edition Final Plat, and Brandy will give us a little talking to.
Okay. Thank you for all showing up tonight on election night. PC. So I think if you want to think back to, I think it was August, we looked at a potential rezoning for part of this plat and Sterling Ponds, and that was voted on in favor by the City Council in September. And so we've since received a application for the final plat approval for this next phase, Sterling Ponds First Edition. In staff's review of the plan, we found it to be overall consistent with the official map and the comprehensive plan. The density proposed is basically what is recommended in the comprehensive plan at 3.7 dwelling units per acre. One inconsistency between the preliminary plat and the final plat is the number of lots that are being proposed now. So what you're looking at on the screen is the preliminary plat that was brought to you back in the spring of 2017 when Tony was still here. And this area here that's in pink, that's the 2.5 acres that was rezoned to this traditional neighborhood development zoning district. And the rest of this was platted to have fewer, I don't remember the exact number, fewer lots than what is now shown. And in our current final plat, you see it in its full rendition. So there's 4 extra lots, 2 on this side and 2 on this side in total to create the new density. So the lot widths are now more about 65 feet wide as opposed to 80 feet wide in the previous preliminary plat, but it's still consistent with the density requirements of the comprehensive plan and the traditional neighborhood development district. The other change is there's a walkway, and I think I have a picture of this in the memo that's a little easier to see, that zigzags behind the rears of the rear yards of the houses because they're no longer aligned. So that is something that engineering went back and forth with the developer to try to get the right width and dimensions to make that feasible for our snow equipment to get back there. So they've since approved this configuration. So other than that, the development is consistent with the developer's agreement, and staff has included a resolution for that would go before the City Council. So we're looking for your recommendation to City Council on the resolution.
Brandy, a couple of quick questions if I could. As I look at that path, like for instance, on lot 20, block 5, and lot 20, block 4 for that matter, it looks like there's a little piece that the property owner is going to have on the other side of the lot. Is that correct? So they're going to have a little.
Is this what you're talking about, lot 20?
Yeah, it doesn't matter either lot, but see that little spot right where your little hand is
Yeah.
right now? Is that lot
I think
20's
that's just right away.
piece?
Yes, so the black line, that's the rear lot line for 20,
Okay.
I
But
believe.
I'm talking about
Yep.
where the path cuts through and makes that little jog.
So the easement
Part of
here,
the easement.
Yeah, the
is,
easement for the path.
I believe, 10 feet wide.
Okay. But that little section right there where the little hand is, no, move it back.
Part of the easement.
Right where the
This
curve
is-
Right
is.
there. Is that part of lot 20 as well?
This line here is where lot 20 is.
So that
Okay.
little section right there,
Correct me if I'm wrong, Kip, but I think, okay.
so they're gonna have a little section on the other, they're gonna have sections on both sides of that pathway.
Correct. So I believe that this is the other easement for utilities on this side, and then
That to me
this-
looks like setback, actually. Is that setback?
Let me look at the plat.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to comprehend that the homeowner
That
makes
little
sure that
piece.
there's gonna be two little orphan pieces here that are gonna,
Yeah, I think you're right. The building footprint is what is the dotted line.
Yeah.
So the dashed line, I believe, is the setback area. I'm not sorry, the setback, the utility easement and the walkway easement.
so that lot will have a little
A little flower garden there.
piece, and then the lot on the other side of the path will also have one in the back, right there. That's sort of a little straggler piece on the back of the lot. I don't know that it really
It's only
matters.
affecting 20,
It's only affecting both lots 20. I just
yeah.
I just
So
don't-
you're right. It does have a strange configuration of an easement for each of those.
Okay. And there'll be 10 feet wide paths?
The path will be 6 feet and the easement's 10 feet.
These will be 10,
So two
okay.
on each side.
So we can get a city plow down there to move it out if we need to?
Yep.
Okay.
I guess I could understand the curve on that one because you're trying to align the.
Here's the,
Okay, so that's where that's coming in. That's
Yep.
why it has to curve.
The other
Okay,
path.
now I get it.
Yeah. I took the other path.
So the responsibility of the homeowner is to maintain that corner across the path. Correct.
It would appear to be.
So, but then are they obliged to keep
keep it clean?
keep the path clean also, or?
I'm not sure. Is that something that we do as city?
Well, that's ours.
We discussed with operations, and they'll be taking care of the pathway.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Refresh my memory again. Do we already have a letter of credit or a bond in place for this?
Not yet. They are not allowed to record the final plat until we have that in place. So that's,
Yeah, okay, so
Yep.
it comes at final plat. Okay, I always get that confused. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's all I've got.
Questions? No?
There's a resolution.
Okay, thanks, Brandy. Right after it, right here.
I make a motion, we approve the resolution for Sterling Ponds first edition final plat.
Give it to
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we'll move on to the 700 Main Street Development Update. And Amy will update us on that.
Good evening. Let's see if I can get to where we need to be. Whoops. Well.
Oh.
We're getting there. Okay. So this is a non-action item before you tonight to just give you an update on the development at 700 South Main Street. Do you have marbles up there, Mr. Morissette? The developer's representative is here this evening, so after I give you a short overview of the materials that were in your packet, I'll let him come up and address any questions that you may have. But you'll remember this development from last year, right? So this came before you. They did apply for tax credits last year, but were not funded. So they're ready to go in again. December 14th is the deadline to WIDA for those tax credits. They've massaged the product just a bit. Last year it was 70 units. This year it's 73. Taking into consideration some of the comments that you provided last year, they have upgraded the facade and the style. So you'll remember initially it was a very modern look. And I think they had presented a brick alternative, which I think you liked better, and then they enhanced it a bit more to this prairie style look. So hopefully staff was pleased with this. Hopefully the community will be as well. So like I said, 73 units. It's a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. Pulled close up to South Main Street, so they've got some garden style entrances coming right off Main. And if you'll notice in some of the other renderings, they have changed the back side of the building quite a bit. So this area on both the north and south sides would be covered parking. So it would allow covered access, I believe, for folks coming from the parking garage into the building. And also provide some recreation space on top of this flat roof here as well. So a unique and different look, I think, from both the north and the south sides than what you've seen in the past. If I scoot up to the site plan here. So parking, right now they've got at 118 stalls, 66 covered and 52 uncovered. This project, from the city's perspective, will also include then the cul-de-sac coming up on Sycamore Street, and then the vacation of park as well. So those changes are not shown on the site plan, but the city is anticipating those happening with this project. Currently, the property is zoned R3, so this is an allowable use. But in order to meet some of the pieces of the project, I guess, we'll probably be looking at a PUD for this project as it comes through further, assuming funding comes through from WIDA, to bring it closer up to Main Street. It does not at the current time meet our current parking requirement. And there's open space standards in our multifamily design code that a PUD would assist with as well. So the process from here forward, again, just looking for comments, support from you this evening, but going to council then December 11th for a resolution of support at that time. Again, tax credits going in December. We'll probably hear back March from WIDA to know if this is funded, and then the project, if funded, would move into the PUD process where we'd be doing a full development review on the project. So I'll take any questions, and then, like I mentioned, Brian is here as well, Brian Sweeney, if you would like to hear from him.
Amy, can you explain the way the parking would look to the east then? In the aerial photo, we see parking there. So how does that change, if at all?
So you're talking about the view from the east?
Just from the east of the property, on the east side of the property, where the line of cars are right now that are all kind of just...
Yeah.
What is
Brian, maybe you can come up, but I would assume that these are going to be facades on the end right here where the mouse is, and here as well. And then, I mean, this will be the view into the back side of the building.
I guess I was referring to on Sycamore Street. Is there any, I mean, I'm looking at the way that parking is. Does anything change with the way that head-in parking is?
Yes.
Okay. Was that something I might have overlooked in the...
No. So the city will most likely be taking care of that project, so that hasn't been designed yet.
Okay.
Right, that'll come once we know if the tax credits have been funded and if the project is moving forward.
All right.
Yeah.
When you say move it closer to Main Street, do you mean move the building closer to the street?
Correct, yeah, the multifamily setbacks right now are quite large. I don't remember what they are offhand. 25 feet.
And
Yeah.
what would you like to see it then?
I'm not sure what it is set at the moment. But that's something that we can negotiate during the PUD.
It looks like it's the 12-foot setback off of Main Street, if I'm reading it correctly. Is that,
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to come up, but is that, you're thinking that 12 feet would be even less than 12 feet to Main Street? Are you nodding your head?
Yeah, come
I
on
think
up,
that's a
Brian.
12-foot setback on the side.
Currently, well, in the front, it looks to
Can't tell.
be,
And again, these aren't full site plans, right? This is to give you an idea about the project, so those will come in later. Did you?
Well, my opinion on the design while he's coming up is I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
much, much better.
Variation in material and color and the roof. I really like it.
So Brian Sweeney with Cohen Esri Development Group, and our firm is based out of Overland Park, Kansas. But I live in Stillwater, Minnesota, and have lived there for 25 years. And I've been able to can see Wisconsin from my back deck, just so.
Good view.
Yes, it is. So Amy did a really good job of synopsizing kind of the development of the project here. I would just affirm that city staff push back very politely but strongly and encourage us in two areas particularly. The first was to look at a design that was a little more consistent with the neighborhood. We're not downtown, we're not right downtown. And we tried to capture that with our prairie design, and I think everybody from Wisconsin loves a prairie design, right? My family had a farm in Spring Green, Wisconsin, right next to Taliesin, so in addition, they pushed on the parking, tried to get a little more parking, but also some covered parking. And we think we came up with this scheme here, schematic, that extends the design. I mean, I think that just is a very attractive view from Main Street and Broadway, and you can see the full kind of prairie style throughout there. And it's a unique garage design in that tenants would not have to go outside. They have a direct connection to get inside. So, and the parking, we didn't have covered parking before, and we knew it was a great idea, and we wanted to do it. One thing about I just want to share a little bit about the family tax credit application is a little different from the senior tax credit application, which I think you dealt with this spring, in that there are really more requirements, and it's an more expensive product. They're trying to, the WIDA incentive is to try to get family housing, right? I mean, we need senior housing, we need family housing, but they require that 15% of the units be 3 bedrooms. So, I mean, just from an expense perspective, 3 bedrooms are a lot more expensive than 1 bedrooms, and you can't get a lot more rent than that. They also encourage that the majority of those 3 bedrooms have an outside entrance. So, and we were able to maintain that, a separate outside entrance. They can come into the lobby. They'd be able to come into the lobby and go into the units. But we have it's not a full length of the building, but, not sure what I did there. But from Main Street, you're actually going to have a walk-up and an individual entrance for those units. So I think it'll be a very attractive and fit into the residential design of the neighborhood. So And just a note about parking, I know in the area, there's a lot of issues relating to student parking. The Light Tech product, and it's a federal regulation, does not allow these units to be student housing. It's not a fair housing issue. It is a federal directive that, they're encouraging this to be family housing. So, we're involved in about a dozen projects right now in 6 states. Most of them are family housing. And most of them are closer to a downtown. I mean, it's not a suburban wealthy area where I think you absolutely have to have 2 and 2+ parking spaces per unit. The average of all of our projects is approximately 1.5 spaces per unit. And we as developers would never develop a project that didn't have enough adequate parking. And in our experience, we have found that, again, when you get a little closer to a downtown and not that suburban or ex-urban wealthier apartment complex, that works. And I don't, we would be concerned if students, tried parking and in our lot, et cetera, and we'd have a direct phone call to some officials downtown here. So, I mean, I don't think we are adding to the problem of the student parking. I don't think we're solving that problem, and it's not, our goal necessarily to do that. So, and I know that's just been an issue that traditional multifamily has 2 parking spaces per unit, but again, we're hoping you'd be okay with a little less than that. Again, knowing that we as developers are very confident that that's adequate parking for this mix of units in this complex. So,
Brian, could I just keep on that theme of parking a little bit? And I know we're in preliminary design, so I'm just to give you some feedback. That is the one area that I'm concerned about. You're at 1.61. Yep. Based on my calculations. And the reason the concern is there, I'm sure staff has shared it with you, but we have other multifamily. Granted, they are college student, they're mainly college rentals, but we've got other landlords in town who are finding themselves in a problem because each bedroom that they rent out, there's a car that usually comes with it. Again, they're college students. But we're seeing that, that mix of parking problems in other areas around the university. So that's why there's maybe some sensitivity. And I don't know if anybody, the mayor probably gets the calls, but I've gotten calls from residents and the owner of the complex saying, hey, you got to get me more parking. And, it's kind of their thing. But by my calculation, you have 133 bedrooms, if that's right. So
right.
we're, I don't think that we need to go to 2 bedrooms or 2 cars for every bedroom, but I guess my encouragement to you is a couple things. If we are able to look at the WIDA funding and get a PUD in place and move that building more forward, would that create some more space? Additionally, with the vacation of Park Street, can we get something more on the north side? Can we get some more parking on the north side? And again, I think there's still some moving parts here, but this is the feedback time. I just would like to see squeeze out as many spots as you can. I think it's really imperative because I don't know that, to Mike's question earlier, those nose-in parking spots on Sycamore, they may not be around after the design. It may be parallel parking. I don't know. I'm not sure what that area will allow us for, but I like the design. I like the project. It's needed. Our housing study points to that. I'm very supportive of it, but I just encourage you to squeeze out as many parking spots as you can.
Okay.
Other quick question, if I could, you show on the south side of the property on the site plan. There's kind of a rooftop terrace
Yeah.
Is that going to be the same on the north side as well, or is that not designed for the north side, just the south side?
Currently, it's just designed for the south side.
Okay.
But
okay.
it is a common area, it can be used as gathering place.
Okay.
In addition, I think we kept also some green space right behind the building there, and there's some great trees that we're doing our best to maintain.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before on the setback, in the site plan right now, what's the estimation of the setback from Main Street? Is it about 12 feet?
I believe so, but I'm not sure. I thought they listed it on here.
When you talk about a PUD and it would move closer to Main Street, how much closer are we talking? Anybody that can answer, right up to the sidewalk?
I don't know that we've had those discussions yet as staff. I do believe we want the building probably closer than 25 feet. Whether that, 12 is too close, I think we'll have to take a look at.
Okay.
So we don't think it's going to be any closer than 12 feet.
I can't imagine.
No.
Yeah.
Especially with garden-style walkouts, I think they'll want just a little bit of
Right.
green
Plus-
space on that
Yeah.
front side for the kids to play and such, so.
We've got a 4-foot sidewalk there today, or 6? Don't know.
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
sure it's 4. It's old.
Pretty
Yeah,
skinny.
it's old.
So that would come out and we would make it at least 6, or would we go up to 10?
Sure.
On sidewalks right now.
6.
6 only? Okay.
My
Gosh, we're
point
just
is,
full
Lisa,
of
is I
it.
think what's gonna happen is we're gonna get, whatever we're gonna get for a sidewalk is gonna be wider than what we have today, so you're gonna have that as a setback
Right.
already.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Up to the street or with green space sidewalk, green space building?
Correct.
There'd be green space.
Green space sidewalk, green space building.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
so you'd have, I don't know, how many feet of green space between the curb and the sidewalk, and then you'd have the sidewalk, and then you'd
Typical
have.
boulevard.
It's not street, sidewalk, building.
No.
No.
Yes,
no.
and that's,
No, I
I
don't
think
think
the
we're
previous
looking for that.
drawing, it just
No.
seemed like it was so
No.
much closer.
No.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Similar to juniors, which I think you're concerned about. It's not sidewalk going directly up to the building.
Okay.
Anybody else got anything?
Actually, that was what came to mind too, and I
Yeah.
thought that's probably not what you want. However, we're talking about trying to get more parking in there, and we don't want that. So we'd like to, we want it to be parking neutral. And I think that's what you're talking about. And we have concerns about that, but then we're also talking about setbacks. So we want more parking, and we don't want you up to the curb. So whatever magic you can do, I guess.
I would like to
Thank you.
agree with Scott's concern on the parking. And has there been any consideration to underground parking?
So, yes, we've looked at it. Again, kind of the cost of the building is a little, it just is a different situation than a senior product. And again, WIDA requires at-grade entrances. So, there's a couple different types of underground parking. There's at-grade, there's underground parking, there's at-grade parking under the building. Again, it's just a financial challenge for us to do that. We looked at it, and we thought what we came up with was a good compromise, but
And one other thing would be snow storage for plowing, the snow there in that U-shaped building, considerations for where the snow will be pushed in the wintertime.
good question. I don't know the answer. But I'm sure as part of our, site plan review, when we get to that place, I don't have that answer today. Maybe we could get that back to you, though, shortly.
Okay, thanks.
Just a quick clarification. So in order to go further for the WIDA portion of it, this is what needs to be approved, and these adjustments we're talking about would come after that,
Right.
correct?
Yeah, so from the city, I mean, they're really looking for a resolution of support from council. That will most likely have a monetary ask as well. And that will suffice for the WIDA application.
Okay.
And then, once, if that is approved, then it would come back through full review through the PUD process.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything? I think that's it. I really like the design and everything too, and obviously everybody's concern is parking, but I think we'll be able to work through that, so.
Great.
Hopefully. So, good luck with the application for the
Thank you.
grants.
We're feeling very good about it, and, you know,
Yeah.
they've changed some scoring from last year, but this project just scores really well.
Yep,
So,
we need it.
thank you.
We'll see you December 11th.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So next we'll go up to, we're going to have a development review update.
Well, we
Get an
have.
arm wrestle, we'll see who does
I
it.
have to use her microphone. Can you hear me with this one,
Yep.
or is it just me? Okay. We have a number of projects going on right now, so it's kind of exciting, but it's keeping us quite busy. So in addition to the Sterling Ponds plat, we have Campus View Apartments, which is on Birchcrest Drive, I believe it is, and that's over by the university. Anchor Paper is going into Whitetail Ridge Corporate Park. There is a outdoor worship facility that's going to be on the Hope Lutheran site up in Sterling Ponds. And then we're also looking at 3 different of the school district projects. So far, we have received Greenwood, Rocky Branch, and the high school from the referendum projects, and we'll probably be getting the academy and West Side in the not-too-distant future.
Perfect. Anybody got anything any questions or anything about anything? You guys got anything else? No?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Skipped over the next planning commission meeting.
Bye, Kip.